As we continue here on Get Up, two great football games, two really, really good baseball games. We start with Chicago and Atlanta last year, or excuse me, Chicago and Washington. Last year, the NFC North was the best division in the sport. 3 teams won at least 11 games. This year, all 4 teams look like they could be in the mix. They are the only division right now that every team currently has a winning record. Take a look at the Packers and Lions, heavily favored to win that division. The Vikings, right now, the longest odds to win the division. So we asked everyone before we started, who do we like winning that division? And I see it split between Detroit and Green Bay, which is probably not a surprise. Jeffrey.
Yeah, I just like the Lions. I think ultimately this team's going to get healthy on the back end of their defense. They're going to be better. This is a tough-minded football team who is extremely explosive. I know they lose to the Chiefs, a tough game. Things don't go out. The 2 4th downs don't work out their way. This is a team that pushes the envelope. They're not scared to make a mistake. They're going to play through mistakes. You got to respect it. That's why I'm going with it.
They're an aggressive team. I like the Lions in this, but I'm going to lean towards the Packers because their defense is much better, but they aren't necessarily producing the turnovers and sacks. Considering how much pressure they get, they should have more sacks and turnovers. I think those things will come along, and this team will turn into the juggernaut I think that we thought they were going to be.
I'm having a tough time. I picked the Lions to go to the Super Bowl before the season started, and I don't see any obvious reason to back off of that at this point, except that both of these teams, we have to remind ourselves it's still the middle of October. Yeah. But if I recall, when we got working through the playoffs last year, all these teams got knocked out quickly. And I could see it happening again. They all have these big, obvious kind of flaws, and those teams out west that no one is paying attention to. And Tampa, like I'm not sure that while this might be the strongest division top to bottom, I'm not sure these are the best teams.
They beat each other up a little bit too over the course of a season. I think and Detroit's already doing that thing where everybody on defense gets hurt, so you're starting to see that. Now it's not season ending.
I hate when they do that thing.
To me, it's a coin flip. I think the Packers, a young team that has reason to believe it'll get better as the season goes along. So that was what broke the tie for me. But looking at this graphic, I think my only thing I can say is congratulations to the Bears on your division.
Or the Vikings. I mean, everyone is discounting the Vikings.
The Vikings is the only one in that division that has a question mark at the quarterback position. That's the reason I think that they're last.
Do they think they have a question mark? Like I think they think they have J.J. McCarthy.
Guys played 2 games. Like they can't possibly know, even if they believe that he's the guy.
I get that. All I'm saying is that when we came in here 5 weeks ago today, or whenever it was the morning after the first Monday night game, we thought that, J.J. McCarthy's the offensive player of the week, and the Bears are the ones that have the question marks, and here we are.
Offensive player of the week with 160 passing yards.
I get it, but it was the great fourth quarter.
Yes, and I do think they believe they have their guy. The biggest thing is that he just needs to be out there. To the point of that game, you got to see a little bit of the it factor. Now you need the development on the practice from day in and day out, the games from week in and week out to see him continue to progress.
Final word.
Yeah, I mean, we do TV, Greeny, after a game like that. We overreact, make it real excited. The people like it, and then a few weeks later they tell us we were wrong. It's
a little alliteration on them.
Right.
Yeah.
Very go around.
I'm offended by the mere suggestion that you think we would ever overreact to anything on this program, including huge news in Tennessee, the most ridiculous thing in the history of sports. That's meant to be a funny overreaction. So first firing of the NFL season. Titans saying goodbye to Brian Callahan 6 games into his second year. He finishes 4-19, 1-5 this year with Cam Ward, the first pick in the draft. Senior offensive assistant Mike McCourt will take over as interim coach, and it continues this, well, what else can you say? Ridiculous trend. In the last 10 years, 8 quarterbacks have been taken first overall. 6 of them had head coaching changes in their rookie season, including Ward. It has now happened in 3 straight instances. This drives me insane. You know how I feel about that. If we can go little picture and deal with just what they're doing in Tennessee, or we can go big picture. I say this all the time, Domonique. Far more young quarterbacks are ruined than developed. Teams don't sync up. They don't marry up the timeline between the 2 most important people, the coach and the quarterback, and it is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I think you're probably right. That's what you want to do, but I think as just a universal flat rule, I think it's a bad idea. If you know that you have your coach, then you keep your coach. The problem is probably making the wrong hire to start with. I think misaligning the timelines isn't actually what's causing these things to go wrong, is that they had the wrong guy to start with, and they stuck with the wrong guy instead of finding the right guy.
But I guess that's reasonable. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think it's too much turnover at every level if you're talking about Tennessee.
Oh, for
right? They're
sure.
either firing the coach or the GM every January.
Right. Yeah.
That doesn't, like, I'm not kidding. Like, if you go back the last 3-4 years, that's happened. So you go back to this offseason, they change the front office structure. They bring in a new GM, Mike Borgonzi, and they elevate Chad Brinker. He's like in charge of the whole organization now, like football-wise. So there were conversations in the offseason, do we want to bring back Brian Callahan or do we want to move on after 1 year? They ultimately decided to bring him back. The problem is you're having that conversation. And once you start having that conversation, and you're now bringing in the #1 overall pick, like, you have to make sure that you have your guy. And if they were having that conversation, then Brian Callahan wasn't their guy, and he was in a situation where he wasn't going to be able to succeed. I mean, you don't have to cry for Brian Callahan. 4-19 is not a good enough. Like, you can't. Yeah. But I don't think this is about, can he coach? Was he the right decision? Like, once you're discussing it as a newly structured front office with a brand new quarterback coming in, you have to be 100% sure, and to me, it doesn't sound like they were.
Go ahead.
To me, the sad part of it is we literally watched the same exact process with Caleb Williams a year ago, where you switch play callers, then you fire the head coach. You would think that you would learn from those list of names we had up there on the screen. But for me, it goes right back to Neek. It starts all the way at the top, and it goes beyond the head coach. You have to make sure when you're hiring a general manager, you're putting the right football people in place to bring a guy in. So when your head coach comes in, you see the vision that he has for the football team, and you trust that within 2, 3, 4, 5 years that vision's going to come to fruition, and you're not just giving up after a year and 6 games.
You heard it. 2, 3, 4. Right? Here is my issue with all of this. I think people don't necessarily always understand the power structure in the NFL. And you said it right. In Ford, so they fired the general manager, then a new general manager, then they fire Vrabel, then they fire that general manager, right? So the process continues. Now they do it again. They're questioning whether they should fire the head coach. So what does the head coach come in? He comes in, he's basically a lame duck. Yeah. So when things don't go well with a rookie quarterback that you know is going to take time to develop, all of a sudden you got to fire your play caller. Well, why do I got to fire my play caller? You got to move on from this guy.
Might be right. Robinson right now the second player with 450 rushing yards and 300 receiving yards through his first 5 games of a season. The only one to do it was Thurman Thomas in '91. Thurman won MVP that year. Could Bijan be headed in that direction? We'll find out. Week 6 is now officially behind us after the doubleheader last night, and so it is time for J-Mac holding McCourt.
Let's talk all about it. Everybody is getting it done. We're going to start with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, you dived right into it. I appreciate that. I was going to set you up, but I like it.
Oh, my bad.
No, Chiefs, what are they?
They're the best team in the AFC right now.
What?
Patrick Mahomes is happy. This one is just for Jeff Saturday. I know we all love the Indianapolis
I was going to say.
The Chiefs beat you so bad they make you want to fight them in the parking lot after the game. If you've experienced that, you know exactly what it is. I know everybody hates to see the Kansas City Chiefs win it, but get out the way. Mahomes is back. He's smiling. He's sticking his tongue out at the games, and they're having a blast getting it done. Baker Mayfield, 6 weeks through the season, he is your MVP. Hey, this upcoming game against the Detroit Lions, they're going to have me and Domonique Foxworth out there playing wide receiver because they have no one left. But somehow or another, Baker Mayfield, 12 touchdowns, 1 interception. He still gets it done, and he talks trash, so you got to love that.
Yes,
the Pittsburgh Steelers going into it right now, they have found their winning formula. You know what it is? Run the football, and then let Rodgers run around and make plays with his legs. Graz watched on Sunday, and he loved it. He said, you know what? Rodgers is spry. I know he's older, but he still figures out how to get on the run and make plays. And, oh, yeah, the defense is coming alive. Jalen Ramsey, 2 sacks in the game, stopping the run. The Steelers, favorite to win the division? Maybe.
They actually are now finally favored to win the division at 4-1. With the Ravens sitting at 1-5, and the other 2 Ohio teams trading quarterbacks one to the other, which caught the attention of Mike Tomlin. And he didn't like it, and he wants you to know it. In his press conference yesterday, Tomlin questioned the Cleveland Browns and their general manager, Andrew Berry, for the decision to trade Flacco to Cincinnati. Listen.
To be honest, it was shocking to me. Andrew Berry must be a lot smarter than me or us, because it doesn't make sense to me. To trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feelings.
I love I love it.
I love it.
My favorite
tenure is
He
awesome.
took the group chat to the public.
Yeah. Here's my
Say whatever
favorite
you
part.
want.
My favorite part
Say his
is
full name.
They could have went on Andrew Berry on a lot more than that. He just waited until it was the Flacco thing. But you know what happened? Like it was last year that when they were playing the Colts and he told them, make sure you don't knock AR out of the game. I don't want to see Flacco. Flacco comes in and beats him. And so he's got he's seen some Flacco days where they come back. He's salty at Andrew for making that trade in the division. I love the old school mentality.
Yeah, I think he does understand exactly what's going on, and that's why he doesn't like it. He feels like
What is it? What is going on?
I mean, he feels like the Bengals got a little bit better, and the Browns don't care about what happens in the division this season. So they're like, all right, let me get some picks, whatever, and don't make my team. He wanted to go up against Jake Browning, and now he's got Joe Flacco.
And you got him twice in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're concerned about Flacco, then yeah, I can understand being ticked off.
And for Andrew Berry and the Browns, they're looking at it like you said, Nick, you got a draft pick, and they're also looking at it as, you know what, for the Cincinnati Bengals, we don't want you to end up with the #1 pick. We're going to give you Joe Flacco. He'll be just good enough to win a game or two. Now you end up picking in the teams, and we're actually helping our team for the future. We don't give a damn about the Pittsburgh Steelers and how it impacts them. We hate everybody in the division.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not his job to worry about how it impacts anybody.
I don't even think it was even that nefarious. I think it's like, we're done with this guy. Someone's offering us something. We're going to take it.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Like they weren't going to play Flacco the rest of the year.
Let's go back to the beginning part of it. Are the Pittsburgh Steelers going to win that division?
I mean, the rules say somebody has to.
Right.
Like, that's in the rules. So, look, I don't.
It hurts him.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you'd have to say yes. But, like, get back. If the Bengals beat them Thursday night, like, are all bets off? Do the Ravens have a softer schedule coming up and get their quarterback back healthy? I mean, it's not over. We've seen the Steelers start out hot and fade. That wouldn't be the first time it's ever happened. So, but they're the only ones really that things have gone well for so far in that division.
Yeah, no, I think I would lean towards the Steelers. However, like the Ravens defense, without getting the people back, played a little bit better, honestly, a lot better against this Rams team. If Lamar comes back and that offense goes back to scoring 30 points and has
It's a lot of ifs.
It's one if.
I mean,
It's
look,
one if.
If the defense keeps playing good, if Lamar comes back, plays good, if they score 30 points a game, you can't group them all together.
If the Steelers stop playing Carson Wentz,
they score 30 points.
Oh, okay.
That's not an if.
Okay, you combine it. I got you.
The reality is when you're 1-5, you need a lot of ifs to fall your way. Their schedule, the Ravens' schedule, in theory, does look manageable, and they get 2 cracks at Pittsburgh, so they will have their opportunity to climb back into it. But the Steelers are now the favorites to win that division. NFL games, 2 league championship games. Let's get it started in D.C. Caleb and the Bears, Jaden and the Commanders. This building a house of horrors for Chicago last year. But it was all the mistakes that the Commanders were making early, like right here in the first quarter.
Yeah, you can't put the ball on the ground if you want to win. It was a wet, kind of misty night. There were a number of turnovers that probably decided this game.
Yeah, most of them coming from the Washington side. That was 6-0 Bears. That leads to this. Caleb takes it himself. It's 13-0 Chicago early in the second quarter. But Commanders working their way back. Jaden Daniels, how about this throw here in the end zone to Chris Moore, Jeff?
Oh, look at this right here. Throws that thing up. Contested catch. Gotta love it. Drop the thing. No push off. Stop.
They're going to get that shin.
Really? Didn't get no call like that. We're about points.
13-7 Chicago at the half. It's 16-10. Second half begins. Luke McCaffrey. J-Mac, where's the defense?
Oh, my goodness. They got him with the screen and goal. The DBs all bite on it. Luke McCaffrey wide open in the end zone.
Commanders up 17-16. Then the Commanders block a field goal. Now they've got a second down near midfield. Now we got Jalen Lane. Now we're in business. Commanders are driving. Flag was on the defense. Domonique, Zach Ertz going to find himself in the end zone, and the Commanders go up 8.
Oh, yeah, red zone, you want to watch out for those skinny posts. They're certainly going to take a shot with the tight end. He gets on the inside of the DB, and Jaden Daniels puts it on his chest.
But these are the new Bears. They don't quit in the fourth quarter. Bears 3rd and 4, their own 35, 10 minutes to go. DeAndre Swift, Jeff, had a night.
Little motion out of the backfield, catches it, and then puts it on him on the sideline. I mean, he just stanky legs him and then takes that thing to the house.
They go for the 2. They don't get it. Bears don't get the 2, so it's 24-22 Washington. The one thing they can't do is turn it over.
Almost in the exact same spot. You can't turn the ball over. They're about to put it away. Jaden Daniels never quite gets a grip on it. Ball's on the turf. Sets it up for the Bears.
That was a 3rd and short. Commanders could have gone a long way towards putting the game away. Instead, we're going the other way inside the 2-minute warning. There's the first-round pick, Colston Loveland. That's converting on a 3rd and 5. Now it's DeAndre Swift, who had himself a monster night. 175 total yards. This one puts them well into field goal range. And so they let the clock tick down to 3 seconds. Jake Moody elevated from the practice squad on Monday. 38 yards, ball game. Chicago comes from behind. In the same building where their season ended for all intents and purposes a year ago, they win it 25-24. And afterwards, their locker room was lit.
That's 3 in a row. And the only thing I need is a little bit more. Good, better, bad. Good, better, bad. Never let it rest. Never let it rest. Good gets better. Good gets better. You better get better. You better get better. Bears on 3. 1, 2, 3. Bears.
Listen, I mean, all of a sudden, things starting to take shape, right? They started 0-2 this year, but they have scored little signs. They've scored 20 points in all their games this year. Bears hadn't done that in 30 years. Wow. Caleb Williams, 200 yards and a touchdown in every game this year. He is on pace to become the Bears' first ever 4,000-yard passer. I will remind anyone who doesn't know, this franchise started as the Decatur Staleys in the 1920s, and they've never had a 4,000-yard passer, but here they are. So as we watch them, and you just sort of feel it happening a little bit, I'm surrounded by Bears fans in my life. Ben Johnson plus Caleb Williams, what we are seeing. Jeff, what are we seeing in the Chicago team?
Maturation and growth.
Right before your eyes,
right? Before your eyes. You're seeing it. And I love what you're seeing. And again, there's nothing perfect about last night's performance except this. No one bowed their head. No one gave up on it. They continued to fight. Caleb Williams, even when he would come to the sideline when things didn't go well, he'd be frustrated. You could see him airing it out. Then he comes back. That 3rd and 5 we showed in the highlights. Big time play in a big time moment.
There it is.
Yeah, right there. I mean, so you have to be excited if you're watching this Ben Johnson kind of development of Caleb Williams and the process they're along. I mean, it's only been 6 games or whatever it is, and they're moving the right direction.
3rd and 5, the willingness to just get 7. And knowing that's what you need at that point,
right.
like managing the situation. We know Caleb Williams can do incredible things on the football field, like flying out of bounds and throwing back across his body. We know that. But the advancement is in him knowing that he doesn't have to.
That's right.
And that is, I think, really critical. You have Ben Johnson not just developing him as a quarterback, changing his footwork, whatever else, but also, you have to manage a football game. You're the quarterback. And so here are the situations where we need you to be better. Here are the situations where we need you to probably think about toning it down.
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing a highly confident young quarterback because he's seeing growth in those areas.
Can I say this too about Ben Johnson just real quick?
Yeah.
Like the 3rd and 5, to your point. Great route, great concept ball. The Swift, when he's in motion, he gets up. Ben in the run game on the 2nd down, and they convert it to get themselves in field goal. He makes it, I'm not saying he makes it easy because I'm not trying to make, but he simplifies it where it's a very, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give everybody the advantage. Our offensive line's going to have an advantage in the angles and the blocks. Our receiver's going to have an advantage. Our quarterback's going to have an advantage. He sets you up to be productive and to be efficient, and guys are just taking what he's given.
There's answers to the test. When
there you go. That's exactly right.
He gives you the answers to the test. And I think what we saw last night is only the beginning. There was still a lot to be desired on the offensive side of the ball for them. Watching that game, though, you look at the 2 quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels, who's been unbelievable so far. He was the one making the mistakes in the game, the fumble, the interception. It was Caleb Williams, yes, a few nice plays, but just not killing his team in that game, and they were victorious.
I, too, am encouraged by what we see from the Bears. However, they won the turnover battle by 3 and probably still should have lost that game. So they found a way to win, but it still isn't where they wanted to be by any stretch.
No, right.
I don't want us to let the result kind of jade the perspective of what actually happened on the field last night. This team kind of was in a position to lose a game where they won the turnover battle by 3. Got a red zone interception.
Yeah, that's fair. Go ahead, Dan.
If you're a fan of the Bears, you're not looking for you're looking for signs of progress. Last year they lose this game on a Hail Mary.
Side of this conversation with that, I think there was something psychologically significant about winning in that building 50 weeks after their season ended on one of the worst plays in recent NFL memory. I don't need to show it to you again because you've seen it, but I will anyway because it's fun to see. But I mean, the play that just destroyed the Bears season. I remember Rex Ryan came in the next morning and said they won't win another game after that happened. And basically they didn't, and the coach got fired and everything else. And while Ben Johnson wasn't a part of that team, Caleb Williams certainly was. So I think there's something psychologically significant about them winning. Period. New paragraph. Domonique, to your point, this is a game the Commanders should not have lost. And I know that after 6 games last year, we wouldn't have said the Commanders are going to be in the NFC Championship game. So I'm not suggesting there's cause for enormous concern. But it hasn't looked that like we thought. We thought they were going to be like a freight train that was unstoppable coming out of their run last season. It hasn't started that way.
Yeah, no, I mean I think it's been up and down for them so far this season, and losing Jaden for any amount of time is going to be a problem. They're always in every game that he's around because he's that talented. And you saw it last night. The red zone interception that he threw was like a rare mistake that he made. But the entire time we were watching that game, like maybe the result changed the way that we feel about it, but the whole time I'm watching the game, I'm like, oh, Jaden Daniels got this under control. Down by 13, Jaden's got this under control. So I'm not going to overreact about him throwing this interception right here or handle the ball to the end. I still think that this team is probably better than the Bears, and they're also in a division that seems like it's a little bit more winnable than the Bears.
That may be. Which who would have thought we would have said that with the Eagles sitting there? But there's also part of that too. Like this was a week that began with the Eagles opening the door, and then the Commanders with a chance to finish the week by walking through it. And at least for the moment, I get that it's October. They didn't do it.
No, and look, if you're the Commanders, you're in a different place in your program than the Bears are. You have reason to believe it'll be okay. You'll get your top wide receivers back at some point from their injuries. And I think you look at it big picture. I'm not concerned about Jaden Daniels and the Commanders' offense. I am concerned about their defense. I think they need to tinker a little bit on that side of the ball and get it right. But I think Jaden Daniels proved last year that he's equipped to handle the bumps in the road.
Yeah, they look like the better team, to your point, as you're watching that game last night. They didn't make the necessary plays, but when you have Terry McLaurin and he comes back after missing most of training camp, when you have a quarterback in Jaden Daniels who misses 2 games early on within the first 6 weeks, you're not going to worry about this football team at all. They're going to be where they need to be at the end.
And when you're, to me, this is similar to like Detroit the other night, right? Is when your best guys aren't making the plays, or when Patrick Mahomes against Jacksonville throws that interception, right? It goes back. There are certain moments when your best guys don't have their best stuff, and you go, you know what? That's going to be exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels, to the rule, will not have a fumbled snap and a handoff late in the game. He's not going to have that interception. So you do trust that your best players are going to play better than that.
I think coming into the season, we all heard about how this team might regress because of all the luck that they had last year in certain situations. This is an example of it. Like when you have these, I think I'm dismissing this loss and not saying that this team is as bad as they looked in certain moments. However, the loss counts. And when you get to the end of the season, you're not going to be able to get it. There's only 17 games in football, and dropping ones you're supposed to win, they always cost you.
And the Bears are 4-2. That could be a team you're tie-breaking against, right? In theory. So it does matter. But I think big picture, if you're the Commanders, you feel like, we're still set up to do it.
We talked about to finish up this part of the conversation, we talked about the Bears division a minute ago. The NFC East has become a very weird place. I mean, the Giants are a Brandon Aubrey 64-yard field goal away from being 3-3, sitting like right in the thick of things. The Eagles have opened up the door a little bit. The Cowboys' defense is so bad. There's no way they'll be able to overcome that. And do the Commanders? Are they the team to be? Are they going to win that division?
I mean, I still feel like it's a long shot because of the talent differential with them and the Eagles. But I think that Dan Graziano probably believes that the Commanders are going to win.
They have to. Right?
I just know the Eagles aren't. That's again, I don't make the rules. Like no one wins that division 2 years in a row.